Good evening, everybody. I am Shelly B, a conservative Black sister surviving in a hot mess world. And tonight's hot mess is mature women that say that they do not care at all about dating or wanting a man or remarrying or anything like that. A lot of women, I came across a video today and it was a bunch of women on here saying what I kind of felt. So I want to unpack this and just see how people think. It's not that long of a video, and I had to work today. That's why I look like this. But I wanted to put this out there because I feel like it is very important discussion. But before we get into this, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. I would greatly appreciate it if you would do so. It takes nothing to do it. Just click the button and subscribe to the channel. Share the video if you like it. Comment, do whatever you can do to help a sister out in catching this algorithm eventually, sometime soon this century. So anyway, I came across this video called "Older Women Are Done with Men and Dating, and Here's Why." And I just thought it was very fascinating because I am also a woman of a certain age in my 50s. And it just seems like all the time people are always asking, "Hi, how are you, Petey?" Good to see you here. I hope you're well. So, a lot of people think that, that especially women of a certain age, that they're longing to be married, they're longing for a relationship, and or they're just longing for so many things. I've had a lot of, male friends say this to me, or men that are trying to date me or whatever. When I don't want to date them, they're kind of like, well, that's why you're by yourself. No, I am by myself because I'm happy like this. And until somebody comes along to improve upon the happiness, I'll just stay like this. But I don't want to get too much into my own opinion of it just yet because I definitely do have one. Let's listen to this because I found this very interesting on how these women felt. And I don't understand why men don't see it like this because, they just think that women, when they get to a certain age, they're lonely. It's like, no, it's like we've took care of kids and a man for the first half of our life. For the second half of our lives, we actually want to do for ourselves and be happy and peaceful. That's just my opinion. Why I don't want to be bothered. Okay, so let me let's look at this together because this is a trip. No shy, no shy. I'm on live. Hi, son. So let me share my screen. So let's look at this. I forgot to tell him what's going on. Okay, so this is just a montage of women complaining, not even really complaining, just saying about how at peace they are in their lives. For some reason, people, especially men, tend to think that, or younger women too, that you have to be married and you have to, have this marriage relationship in order to be happy. And it's just not really the case. And I feel like that's why 50% of all marriages end in divorce is because people marry for the wrong reasons. A lot of people will just pick somebody and settle on somebody in a situation just to say that they are married. Or a lot of women settle on a man because she feels he can take care of her. A man settles on a woman because he feels she can take care of him. And neither is really happy and fulfilled in a lot of these relationships. And that's the reason why they end in divorce. Me, for one, I feel like before you can really have a relationship that's meaningful like this, like you have to really do the work on yourself and love yourself and know what you want. I mean, it took me this long to really really work on myself and love myself and know enough to know what I really wanted. Because I feel like that's why so many of the marriages end up in divorces, because people don't know what they really want, and they're just getting married for superficial reasons, or just to say that they're in a marriage. Or some people might just marry because they want children, or some people might marry because they want somebody to support them or take care of them. All right, so let's just watch this together and see what these women have to say.
So why did I just find out that women in older age are content being single and men are not. So they took statistics from a few dating apps and they found out that men are always searching for love, but women are not.
They always make it seem like women are these thirsty ass people looking for a man all the time. But I really feel, in my opinion, and these statistics that this young lady is giving, is that it's the opposite. A man need, I really feel that a lot of men need a woman to take care of them. They want somebody to cook for them, clean for them, to cook their food, be a companion to them, and stuff like that. We already know how to do that. There are men that can take care of themselves. Yes, they can, but they are accustomed to having a woman do it. Be it your mother, your sisters, your girlfriend, or whatever. And I just feel like they are looking for that. Women automatically think, "Oh man, he want me to cook for him. He gonna be waking me up all at night to have sex, and he gonna want me to be his companion and do for him." I think we think of it differently.
Most women are content by themselves and they do not wish they had a man. But men on the other side are always seeking for companionship. They always are looking for a partner. They're always looking to remarry. Maybe because statistically men have a better quality of life when they're married and women do
How
not.
about
You can
that?
Google that. But when a woman is married and have children, years of her life is shortened versus when a man is married and has children, his life increases. Women are like, no, I'm happy being alone.
And
That's
I
just
feel like too, as men get older, they want a woman because they want somebody to take care of them. You understand? They know that they're going to need that. So a lot of times they want a younger woman because they want somebody to take care of them because they know that the older one is not going to do it. That's the realization that they start coming to. I had a guy tell me that he would want me, and he was my age, and he said I could be his nurse. No, the hell I can't. I'm on the second half of my life. You think I want to be a nurse and take care of you? Are you kidding me? But it was very honest of him to say that. I respected him for his honesty in what he wanted, but I wasn't trying. No, hell to the no. No, I want to enjoy my life. I want to be with somebody that can do stuff, go hiking and swimming and have fun and enjoy life and stuff. I don't want to be in the house with somebody taking care of them. I done did that already. I did that with my son. I raised women raise their kids and their families, and they don't want to be bothered. Men go right into another relationship with a woman that they can have to take care of them. That's just what women think that they want. And that is what they want most of the time. Is somebody to take care of them and support them and help them in everything, and companionship and stuff like that. And women do not want the same, but for some reason men tend to think this, but it's just not the case. And I feel like that's a lot of the reason why they want a younger woman too, because a woman their age is not going to do that and run around after them.
say. So this is it up close if you want to read it. But yeah, it just goes by like most older single women are not looking to date. Yeah. I guess because they're just over it. I don't
And you
know.
know what? Even when I was a young woman, I didn't like dating. I just never liked that, really. I just like to meet people organically, organic situations. Hi, nice buns. That's a funny name. I um I just like to meet people organically. I've been on dating sites and I have never ever met one person off of it or went on a date because I just think it's weird. It's just so impersonal, and I just can't see myself going to meet a perfect stranger without 6 degrees of separation or something. Like most of the time, anybody that I've dated, it was a friend of a friend, or we met, we have a circle of, we might not know each other's friends in common, but we're within a circle of friends with her. So it's like, it's just, I don't know. I personally feel afraid to just go out with a random person off of the internet. Men would do that because they probably don't really feel no threat, that a woman could overpower them or harm them or drug them or they might think different about it. But there are tons of women out there that will go with random guys on a dating site. I just can't. That is not for me.
I guess when you're young, you're more excited to date, and when you're older, you're like, whatever, I don't care.
Recently, someone asked me, "You're a good looking woman. Why aren't you dating?" And let me give you my top reasons of why I'm not dating. I'm not dating because I don't want to be bothered with a man who's going to try to put me on rotation, who's lying about what he's doing, who's scheming and coming up missing.
Hi,
I don't got time
Amadou.
for games, okay?
Thanks for
I
coming in.
refuse to go to the grocery store, spend my money and time to show that I can cook. I know that I
Listen, I know that's right because I've only had a couple of guys that I've known tell me that I don't need to cook, but most of them are expecting you to cook. You got to get along with their family, their grown ass kids. Some of them be hating and stuff like that. They want you as a companion. They want to have sex with you whenever they want to, and it, it's not that appealing. Unless you find that balance. And I don't think any of these women would not want to have a man if it's going to be balanced. But most of the time, it's a lot of work for a woman to maintain a man. And I guess after a certain age, did it for so much of your life, you just want to enjoy your life. And I guess if you don't have a man that's going to improve upon your quality of life, you might as well just stay by yourself. That's what I feel like these women are saying.
can cook. I know what I can do. God has delivered me from that. I am not going back to that.
She said God has delivered her. She feel like she being freed from taking care of a man. But a lot of women feel like this. That's why 50% of all marriages end in divorce, because somebody's feeling disgruntled with that relationship in that situation. And it doesn't work. It doesn't work.
It's over with, okay? I refuse to spend one dime of my pension on a man or put him on my Blue Cross and Blue Shield after I busted my butt for 25 years. I'm not going to do that. I am not going to entertain a man and let him come up and lay up in my house because he got a different body part than me. No, I am sorry. You know what I'm doing? I am enjoying myself, eating my snacks, and being on social media and having full of peace. So those are my reasons.
To me, that's what it boils down, peace. If you can't find peace with somebody, then she's found it in herself. I feel like you can exist. I feel like women can't exist peacefully with a man, but I do believe those instances are very rare. But I do believe it can happen, and I've seen it, and I have friends that have relationships like that, and they're older, and they garden together. They do, they just have a very very healthy level of companionship and respect for each other, and you actually forget about loving the person, really, because people say that all the time, but you just have a respect for the person. Respect includes love. So if you respect each other, you respect each other's space and stuff. We were having this discussion among friends when I was at work a couple days ago, and almost every woman said that she could live with a man if she had her own space. So, you have your own bedroom or whatever, somewhere you could go when you need your own space and you need to be out of that person's energy and stuff like that. Or some people have been married for quite a long time and they have separate houses. You have your own house that you could go to and do what you want to do. I think of that movie Frida, where her husband had separate houses, but they had a ramp built in between the two houses, and each went to their own house and did whatever they do in their houses. You know what I mean? So I feel like, there's a lot of truth to that, because sometimes you need space. And when you live with somebody, you start to get resentful because you don't get that space. And, you just start getting caught up in what the other person needs all the time. And I just feel like it should find a way to be balanced. That was always the reason why I never wanted to get married, because I just could always take a step back and look at the relationship and say, well, this is not, I can't do this forever. My grandmother used to tell me, don't do anything for a man or with a man if you're not going to want to do it forever. Like, you don't want to start out saying, oh, I'm going to cook and clean and do your laundry. If you really don't want to do that forever, you start out how you want to stay and how you feel the most at peace and happy and being yourself, and then see what person fits into that. And then you're gonna have the real essence of the person that of who you should be with. Like I said, I would say I was undateable for a long time. I had my son at 40. My son is just getting to an age where I feel I can date. It is what it is. I didn't want to be bothered with nobody when I was raising my son, because my son came first, and I knew I just didn't have the mental power or the desire to, run after a man, run after my son. It's too much. I commend women that are married that can handle all that. It's a lot.
I'm not dating.
I'm 56 and I don't date. I have been divorced twice. And before you come at me with the whole like, well, obviously you don't date, you're such a loser. No, I was divorced twice because both men were idiots. All right.
Well, I
And
feel like she said they're both idiots, but you're an idiot if you marry two idiots. That's how I see that. What did you marry them for? I feel like a lot of the men in my life have been idiots, but I didn't marry them. And I don't necessarily feel that you have to be married to have a committed relationship that lasts. A marriage is just a piece of paper. The commitment has to be in each other's heart, and the respect has to be there, and the desire to make it work. And clearly she didn't have that.
I divorced their asses and I learned my lesson. And now I'm fabulously single. I love being single. The single independent woman is the new success. That is the
She likes being single because she chose two idiots to be married to, and they probably ruined her life, made her life a living hell, and now she doesn't want to be bothered because she did that. You understand? I never was married, and I still would do it. I still would if I found that compatible person to me, And my son is older now, so I feel a little bit more receptive to having somebody around more often. But, this is where women are full of shit, because she's not taking any responsibility for her misery, because you picked them. You chose them. You chose them. So she's making it seem like she said something profound, but she's an idiot, in my opinion, if you married them, because they were idiots when you met them. People don't change that much. They don't become an idiot. They already were, and you chose to be with them. So what does that make you?
A new luxury. To be a woman who doesn't need a man for money, for power, for pleasure.
Wait a minute. Okay. Unless you're a lesbian, you need a man for pleasure. You need that, period. From time to time. I don't know what's wrong with her. Because you need men for that. You definitely need men for that. I'm sorry. So I don't know what kind of lifestyle she's living here. I don't know.
Is the best ever. And especially at this age, it's like my kids have moved out. I've got my glass of wine. I've got my TV. I've got my life. I've got my girlies, my friends. I've got my career. I'm pursuing my dreams. I am putting all my energy into loving my life and making shit happen in my life. I'm making more money than ever because all that energy I used to put into relationships, guess what? Put it into me now.
But that I can agree with. And we were talking about this today, and I'm telling you, my life has been extremely joyful for the most part, especially as an adult, especially once I had my son. And I feel like any hardship that I really had in my life, it was surrounding a man, or a man somehow was making me miserable or something or other regarding a man. Because I chose, incompatible people to be with. Forget them. It's me. I chose them. I don't waste too much time in a relationship that I feel is not good for me, because, again, like she's saying, you have to love yourself. And once you know your value, you're not going to waste your energy. It's like money. It's like taking millions of dollars and throwing it out the window and investing it in somebody that is not worth it. You know what I mean? That's how I feel about my energy and my time. I don't like to waste my time. I tell anybody that I deal with, don't play with my feelings and don't waste my time, because either one of those two things is the fastest way for me to leave. I don't mess around. I can tolerate a lot of things, but just don't waste my time, and don't, I don't like to waste my time, because time is something that you can't get back. Just, keep it moving if you want to play games, because I don't have time for that. And I feel a lot of women, they feel like this because they spent most of their adult life in these whack relationships that were unfulfilling. And now that they're older, the choices that they made, they have what little bit of life they have left in them, they want to spend it on themselves. But I never married, so I don't feel like that, I don't feel like that. I don't know. I don't know if I ever would marry, because I just don't feel it's necessary. I don't feel it's necessary. But I would love to have the respectful, loving companionship relationship with a man. I don't know what she's talking about, that she don't need a man for pleasure. I just don't know what that is.
I put it into me now. And that means I'm more successful, I'm more creative, I'm more inspired, I make more money.
Now, I have to say, whenever I have a man around all the time, it does mess up my creativity. I have to say, it messes up my creativity. I feel like I'm not as motivated, because I feel like they drain your energy, a lot of them. And there is some truth to that, because I have experienced that also. And when I'm not distracted in that way, I do much better creatively, and just in creating things and getting things done. And when you have a boyfriend or something, you're spending time with them. You're making time for them, when it's time you could have been using on yourself to do something. Now, some people could be worth that time spent, but a lot of them are not.
Yeah, I have no interest in dating, and it's amazing.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. So I am once again here to dispel the myth that women who are older and single are unhappy. They are somewhere crying with their emotional support animal, usually a cat. But from my last video about...
I don't want no man, no dog, no cat. I don't want none of that. Maybe if I get a house, I have dogs or something to protect the house or whatever. Maybe I would get a cat, because I don't like rodents, and they do keep rodents away. That's the only reason why I had a cat all this time, is because I lived in New York City, and the mice problems and the rats and all shit, that's to wear me out. And so that's why we had a cat. And it was a companion for my son. But I don't want to take care of no animals. I don't want to take care of no man. I feel like we either going to take care of each other and balance it out, or leave me alone.
Women dying alone with cats. I've seen some of your comments. Some of you are dog people, and I love that too. But instead of me simply saying that it is not true because it's just a stupid claim, let's hear from some older women who have decided for one reason or another that they are done with the dating scene. And I myself, I cannot imagine being an older woman, like maybe 50.
But I'm telling you, the reason why these women feel like this is because in their youth, they made dumb choices in men, and they were miserable. And now it's like they hate men, or they don't want to, have a man around or whatever, because the choices that they made, I mean, they wasted years in marriages that they probably shouldn't have been in.
Over and still actively dating. Like, I feel like it is so exhausting to do when you are younger, having to sieve through all the red flags and all the people who pretend, and to have to do that in your 50s. I feel like
People are very fake.
that would be a nightmare, honestly. If you're an older woman and you are single, please let us know in the comments if you are crying every night, if you are just so miserable with your life because you do not have a man. I also understand that it is a natural instinct to desire.
To me, I would be miserable in my life if I couldn't take care of myself. I would be miserable in my life if I wasn't creating things and having things to do and having friends and having, I have my son, I would be miserable if I didn't have a life. So I feel like the only women that are longing for this companionship are people that don't have anything to do. And they probably need to get hobbies, find something that brings them joy and go do it, and focus more on their inside and focus more on elevating their frequency and, you know, spending time and getting to know themselves. I feel like if you do that, this woman is like hates men now at this point. I feel like if she do the work on herself, then she'll elevate her frequency and probably meet somebody, a companion that is more suited for her. But I feel like you attract to you what you are. Some people want to act like they're better than the person they attracted, but you attract what you are. You attract what is in your frequency. So the quicker people learn that, the more you're not going to be jaded like this lady.
Companionship, but the idea that a woman has to do everything in her power to ensure that she has just any man, not even a good one. The only qualifier is that she just has a man.
Exactly.
I think that is absolutely absurd.
This comment says, at her age, she just accepted it. Men don't chase gray. What a lovely sentiment. So this was left on a video about me when I talked about being unmarried, child-free by choice, and middle age. And I had the audacity to express that I am happy with my situation. And Colin didn't like it or didn't agree with it. But I can't really blame Colin or other men who think this way, because they've been so conditioned to believe that they are the prize, that women want to marry them in droves, want to live with them, want to be with them at any cost. And there are some women who are like that. But middle-aged women who have been there, done that, we're like, oh, no, I'm good. We've now found our peace, and we're not giving that up.
See, that's the thing. They married people that were not for them, or they married people that were on their frequency. But sometimes people evolve. Maybe the husband's frequency evolved, and maybe he, wanted something else, or the wife's frequency evolved and she wants something else, and you just become distant. And they become jaded because of that, because they wasted like the best years of their lives all entangled in this relationship instead of working on themselves. To me, I feel like a good marriage would be where you're working together to elevate your frequencies together. I feel like that's how they grow apart, because everybody's being so selfish of what they need instead of working together as one unit to elevate together. But that's just my opinion. I've never been married, so I don't know. I would love to hear from people that have, healthy marriages. I've talked to people that have been married that are elderly now, been in marriages for a really long time. And what I took away from what they were saying is that, if, they made an agreement to stay together, and they just stay together. They work out their situations and stuff like that, and leaving each other is not an option. And they grow together, and, they give each other space. One relationship, the husband didn't like to travel, but he didn't stop her from going, and she went all over the world. One couple I met, they said they wanted to split up all the time, but they just vowed to not split up, so they didn't split up. And those times passed. One couple told me that they never fell out of love at the same time. One would be fighting for the relationship, and another would be fighting for the relationship at another time. So I just feel like people are so fast to give up on a relationship. I don't know. I don't really know what to say about it. I've never been married, but just the people that I've spoken to, it can work if the people want it to work. You chose that person. You chose them. That's anybody I've ever been with. I couldn't stand them after the fact, or whatever, but I picked that person. And I, worked very hard to elevate my frequency, so I would never get a person like that again. I don't want to be like these women. I feel like they're very jaded, but I can understand how they got that way because they wasted the best years of their lives, and it wasn't good. It wasn't lucrative. It wasn't fulfilling or anything, you know. So I understand why they're mad about it, but again, you chose them.
And unfortunately for Colin and some of the men who think that way, we're telling the younger generations. Good luck out there.
Hey everybody, it's Jules. It is Saturday and I am here in Aransas Pass, Texas. Check that out. Oh, I don't know if you can tell. There's the pier. And just kind of spending the day with my doggo. And I was having a conversation with a friend of mine, and we're both single. We're both in our 50s. And she was just saying how dating just feels heavy and she just doesn't want to do it. And we both have grown children who are adults doing their thing, and we're excited for their lives as they turn out. And neither of us really want to date anymore. And so we're just having this conversation. And so if you're a woman hitting into that middle age realm, tell me if this doesn't feel true. Here's my issue with dating men at this age. I can spend a day with my girlfriends. We can go thrifting. We can, go shopping. We can go to dinner. We can have some beers. We can hang out on a beach. We can do all of these things. And there is no entitlement to anything beyond just spending time with each other, enjoying each other's company, and being present with each other. And as soon as we go to date with a man, there is this pressure that it's not just enjoying time together. It is this pressure about, is there some kind of expectation around, holding my hand or kissing on the first date or sex beyond,
It is a pressure. It is a pressure with dating. But I feel like, especially when you're dating on these websites, I just don't see how people can do it. I've tried it, but I've never went on one date with anybody on there. And I get a lot of people to hit me on like dating sites, social media, whatever. I don't know. I just don't think I would meet anybody like that, unless they were part of a friend circle or something, I don't know. I don't know.
Multiple dates and what that expectation, and is there always this pressure, and it's hard to stay present in that environment because often there isn't this intense electricity. It's just kind of getting to know
But
each
men
other.
are different. Men don't. I feel like men can hang out with their friends just like women can hang out with their friends. But when you have somebody the opposite sex, I feel like for men and women, the goal is to have an intimate relationship, not just sexual as far as intimacy, but companionship and all those things. So I don't know what she's talking about.
And you can't get to know each other if you can't enjoy each other's company, and it's just this explicit entitlement to sexuality. And it's even worse than that. I'm kind of offended. I'm kind of pissed off that at the end of the day, men in general don't want to get to know me as the amazing, funny, hilarious, insightful, intelligent, capable woman that I am. That's not enough for men to just hang out and spend time and enjoy company. That really the thing that makes men want to spend time with women, and this is not all men, but is some sort of engagement into sex. No, I'm not having it. I'm all done with it. If you don't want to enjoy your time with me because I am amazing and you are amazing and that's enough.
But that's the thing. Once they find out that you're amazing, they want the relationship to progress. That's just, I don't know. I feel like that's just how men are. They're like that. I feel like they're all like that. Women try to think, we process things in one way, men process it in another. They're just not women. They don't think like us. And she's going to bog her brain trying to figure out why men do the stuff they do. But they all do that. They all do that. Unless they have erectile dysfunction, there's no man that's going to sit around with you and watch TV with you every day for years, go shopping with you and everything, and never want to sleep with you. That doesn't even make sense. That's just not how they are wired, I don't think.
Let's not date.
The fact that this is true for young people dating and older people dating, it really blows my mind because you would
All women
think
of every age
that
say the
as
same
you
thing.
age, your priorities when it comes to dating
All right,
and
let's
the
skip over
things
this
that
because I'm getting tired and not this is taking too long. Let me just skip through some of this. Let me see if I can get to
around
the
the
part where let's see what she's gonna say.
Woman 4 times in a span of 3 hours is crazy work when she just gave you her phone number yesterday. Am I crazy? Am I crazy? I fear the men are going to have their panties in a bunch once again because these men are crazy out here. I exchanged numbers with this man yesterday. We had one FaceTime conversation. Okay. That was yesterday. He wanted to meet me out for drinks. Okay. I told him where I was going to be at. He told me he was going to get dressed, meet me there. He never came. So I said, cool. No sweat off my back. We just exchanged numbers. Then proceeds to call my phone at 6:51 in the morning today. Twice. Why would you be calling somebody at 6:51? Called me twice, 6:51. Next call came in 9:14. I was in class. I just came from working out. So 6:51, I was asleep. 9:18, whatever, I was in class. He then proceeded to call me back at 9:38. Why?
The bottom line is he stood her up for the date and then he gonna call her. You know, men just do weird shit. That's just crazy to me. You had an opportunity to go on the date, but you didn't show up, and now you're gonna call and be a bugaboo and call and call and call and call. I mean, it's just weird things.
Hey, why? Then the text message, sorry, let me make it up to you.
Now, this video is not particularly related to women dating as they get older, but this creator is saying that some of the worst relationship advice that she has ever gotten was from older women. And I think it would be really good to hear what she has to say and then talk about it in the comment section of if you feel like older women give good advice or if they give bad advice.
How I feel is you shouldn't take anybody's damn advice. You should learn how to have discernment. I tell my son this all the time. Look up discernment, what it is, and have it. Because nobody can really tell you what to do as far as what is best for you. I mean, I wouldn't take anybody's advice as far as relationships and what I need to do and what is best for me. I just wouldn't. Because how could they possibly know? That's why if you get to know yourself, you'll make better choices, is what I learned.
Because I've seen it kind of both ways. There are a lot of older women who will push dating relationships on you regardless of what's going on in the relationship, regardless of abuse, regardless of red flags. They might say, well, nobody's perfect. You have to accept something in people. And to an extent, you know, we can all agree.
But that is true. And a lot of people don't want to deal with it. As soon as it gets hectic, people want to run out of the relationship. You know, I just feel that people just don't want to work through things. They don't have communication skills. You know, it's very surface level. They have no spirituality, no nothing to hold the relationship together. So it's not going to work.
But they are always really quick to tell you to overlook things that really bother you in a relationship. And on the other hand, there are a lot of older women who are starting to tell the younger women, their daughters, their nieces, you know, that listen, these are the things that I endured in my relationships. These are the things that I saw from our parents or our grandparents, and do not make the same mistakes that I did, or do not make the same mistakes that they did. And I'm probably going to put a poll on the channel to ask if, you know, do you think older women give good or bad relationship advice, and kind of see where everyone is.
I'll put a link to this in the description so you could watch it in full because my eyes are getting heavy and I'm getting sleepy. Does she keep saying, oh, let me hear what this lady's gonna say. I think she's the last one.
Kind of struggle.
Bad relationship advice from older women.
Relationship advice that I've received is from older women from my parents' generation and older. They seem to be accustomed to this kind of struggle relationship and endurance. And so it doesn't matter what you're going through, emotional abuse, financial abuse, physical abuse. All I've ever been told is that men are not perfect and that you need to stick with it and tough it out or help him to get through to it. And I have never been the kind of person
that I would never listen to that. If I was unhappy somewhere and somebody was abusing me, or I felt that they were mentally abusing me, or I felt they were physically abusing me, or, you know, financially, I didn't feel that I was where I deserved to be. I wouldn't give a damn what any advice anybody gives me. This is the problem, is that you need to know your value. When you know your value, you don't allow anybody to treat you like that. Once you work on yourself and learn your own value, you elevate your frequency out of the realm of people like that.
To accept that this is a norm. I don't know where the training was missed along the way that you're supposed to endure this, but I didn't get that programming. Like, I really believe that we have a limited time on earth. And if something isn't working for you, and if one person isn't working for you, instead of spending all your time or investing all your time trying to turn someone into something that they're not, you really should go and explore your options and see what else is out there and try to find the person who is willing to do that for you. And in fact, my experience alone has told me that, listen, if you just go out there and look, what one person won't do, another person will. Yeah. When one person thinks that you're not.
See, the reason why people stay in relationship, because they feel that they don't know their value. They don't realize their value. They figure, oh, I'm going to stick this out. You know, I don't have any options, or, you know, that's the reason why. Now, I do feel that in relationships, it's not going to be all happy days. You're going to go through things, and you have to be able to persevere and have patience and give people space and stuff like that. You know, you do have to try to be willing to work through some of the issues. It's not going to just be perfect all the time. But I would say, if somebody's verbally abusive to you, or, you know, physically abusive to you, or financially they're a bum and they're not trying to build and stuff like that, then I could see now I wouldn't be bothered. But if they have those good qualities, you should try to work with your spouse and try to see if you can get through, if they're not disrespecting you, you know, because the whole point of the relationship is to grow and to elevate your frequency together and help each other be better. So I know a lot of women, sometimes they don't want to listen to what a man says to make them better, and vice versa. So you have to be honest with yourself. That would be great.
Good enough. Another person is out there who is willing to worship the ground that you walk on. So yeah, I am very wary of taking advice from older women, because I really believe that there are some of them, not all, but I really believe that there are some of them who are kind of jealous of the way women nowadays don't have to put up with things that they had to put up with. And so they kind of want to encourage you to put up with it, even though you don't have to. So yeah, I'm just gonna do me. And if a situation isn't working out for me, I'm not afraid to walk. I'm sorry.
Go ahead and let me know what you think in the video, both about, you know, women and their.
So I forgot to do it, but I'll put the link to that video in the description so you can watch it in full if you want to. I mean, when I was younger, I was in one relationship for 8 years, and then 5 years, and then 3 years, and it just got less and less, because as you start knowing who you are and you start realizing your value, you know quicker. You're not going to spend 25 years with somebody that doesn't know your value, because you know your value when you realize, hey, this person is not treating me like I'm valuable. Like I said, I don't like to waste my time. If you're wasting my time, I'm going to be seeing you later. Or maybe I won't see you later. So I just want to throw this out there because, it seems like women always get this bad rap if you don't have a man, but, at what cost? What cost? And I feel like a lot of women are going to be unhappy with the man that they get all the time because of the frequency that they're on. You're just attracting what you are. You're only going to attract the people that's in the realm with you. When you elevate your frequency, the further you elevate and the higher you get, the better people you're going to draw to you. Now, and I keep saying this all the time. Not just in a relationship with a man or the opposite sex, but in everything you do, you're going to draw to you the best options as far as jobs, career, friends, money, just anything, just even strangers that you may meet and just how you move. And it's all going to be better. So I would just always say, take the time to work on yourself first. Take the time to work on yourself first. I am so tired right now because we had a hectic week. I don't know. For those of you that don't know, I work in the film industry and we just been on location for the whole week doing daylight dependent work. Daylight dependent means that we have to finish shooting it while there's still daylight, which means that we come to work when it's still dark outside. So I am very tired and we work today, which is a Saturday, which we normally don't work, but that was just a schedule for this situation here. So I am tired. I can barely keep my eyes open. But the whole reason why I do this channel is just to help people elevate their frequency. Because Lord knows I've done a lot of work on myself over the years. And I've seen it work. The more you put into yourself, the more that people are going to put into you is what I've learned. So if you are attracting these low frequency people, that's because you're on a low frequency too. And the only way to elevate the frequency is to work on yourself. You're not going to be able to make the person you're with do anything. You're going to elevate your frequency and maybe they might elevate with you. That's the whole objective in a relationship, is for you to elevate together. Like my last relationship, I said, well, I really grew. I really grew a lot. I'm glad I had this experience because it made me into the person I am today. It was a messed up situation, what we had, but I evolved. I'm really sorry that we couldn't have done it together. But my hot air balloon has risen. Sorry. You could have been on the hot air balloon with me and we could have elevated together, but you had other things in mind. I don't know. So, I'll see you in the next life. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. All right. So I'm going to go now. I'm so sleepy, you guys. Elevate your frequency. I love you. This means I love you in sign language. And if you sat through this with me, I do. Please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. I would greatly appreciate it. I'm so tired. I'm delirious. I don't even know what the next thing I want to say. I'm going to bed now. I thank you for watching. Do you work on you? Elevate your frequency. And I guarantee you that you will meet a great person. You will be walking in your divine purpose, and the universe, God, whatever you want to call, will put the lovely people on your path to execute God's will. With that being said, I'm going to go. I am Shelly B. Have a great evening. Have a lovely weekend. I'm not coming on here tomorrow. I'm going to rest. And I'll see you on the next one. Bye.